Welcome to the Uplift. We've got a great show for you today and a great cast of characters, like the 10-year-old girl who made a prehistoric discovery on a beach. What did she dig up? We'll tell you. A group of teens who helped the new kid in school in a major way. I love this story. And meet the founders of 826, an organization that has opened 9 quirky shops across the country, from a superhero supplier to a pirate store. What is the purpose of these whimsical stores? We'll let you know. Plus, a mother of 2 experiencing homelessness had to give up her beloved dog. But that's not where the story ends. It's happy. And a bus that has gone to the dogs. Where are they taking these little babies? We'll let you know on the Uplift. Hey y'all, it's David Begnaud. Welcome to the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. We'll start with a story about a homeless mom who could no longer take care of her dog. But when they parted ways, she left something behind with her beloved pup. Here's Caitlin O'Kane with their story.
Animal shelters are used to taking in stray dogs, but this pup named Lilo came to McCamey Animal Center off the street with an added surprise.
We received a call from a Good Samaritan that there was a large dog running around a neighborhood and had a leash attached to it. So our animal protection team went out and picked her up as a stray. And when they put her on our truck to bring her back to the center here is when we found the note.
The note? Please love me. My mom can't keep me and is homeless with 2 kids. She tried her best but can't get help. I cost too much for her. She really loves me, and I'm a great dog.
It is one of the saddest things I've ever read. The last line is what really hit us all here was, please don't abuse me. When you looked at Lilo, you could tell right away that she was very well cared for and definitely loved. That was definitely the truth.
Unfortunately, many dogs dropped off at shelters don't come with notes. So the staff was glad Lilo came with a clue about her family.
A shelter is not the same as a home, so at the end of the day, we'd rather you keep your pet, and we're able to do whatever we can to make sure that that happens.
The shelter staff posted about Lilo on social media, hoping to connect with her owner. Soon, they got a call from someone saying they were Lilo's mom.
It was a wonderful reunion. It was very clear when Lilo entered the room that that was definitely her family. Everyone was extremely happy. There was not a dry eye in the room. The kids were also just as excited and emotional as everyone else.
While centers like McCamey provide shelter for dogs, they also provide resources for families who love their pets but might not be able to keep them due to cost.
For this family, we are working with some local agencies in town to help find them pet-friendly shelter. For other families, we've now established a new fund called the Mac Cares Fund, where we will be able to help families, whether that's paying for a pet deposit at an apartment complex, providing food, resources, anything like that, to just try and keep them together.
The goal of animal shelters is to keep dogs like Lilo happy and safe. And sometimes that means going above and beyond to reunite them with the family that loves them.
I'm telling you, that story touched me to my soul. Thank you, Caitlin, for that. We take you now to Alaska, where a bus picks up eager passengers each day to take them on adventures with their friends. It's not your typical school bus, and they're not kids. Here's Natasha Lorno.
Every morning in Alaska, this school bus makes its rounds picking up passengers. But they're not kids going to school. They're dogs going on adventures.
Good morning, Amaru.
Hi, buddy.
The dogs jump into their assigned seats and are attached to leashes instead of seat belts.
Load up.
The doggy bus is operated by Mo Mountain Mutts, a dog walking business created by Mo Thompson and her husband Lee.
I hope everybody enjoyed their trip today, and remember, your guide's salary depends greatly upon the quality of their service and the generosity of your gratuity.
They load up their bus and take different groups of dogs on off-leash walks multiple times a day. The pups can expect the same treatment as airline passengers.
Thank you for riding with my mountain mutts. Would you guys like a complimentary chicken liver with your bus ride?
And nobody ever says no to complimentary treats. They're even assigned very important responsibilities.
Please stay in your seats till we get to your house. Paws to yourself. Tails out of the aisles. Murray, you're sitting in the emergency exit. Are you willing and capable of offloading the pups in a remote chance of an emergency? Thank you.
So in the back of my bus, there's 4 seats that are all by themselves. So they're literally in their own little section. We call it the licky puppy corner. So dogs that want to like relentlessly lick each other all sit together. And then the mentors and the really calm dogs sit together.
Come on, get on the bus. Who's honking the horn? Bama!
The dogs are seated based on their personality, age, and manners.
Nina and Murray sit together. They sit behind me because they're very polite riders. They're not noisy. Nobody squeaks in my ear or slaps me in the back of the head with their big paws like these guys definitely would. Hey, you're gonna have to get in your seats.
While some dogs don't always follow the rules.
Excuse me, ma'am, your tail is in the aisle. Ma'am, you're gonna have to adjust your butt.
Most of them are well behaved.
Break!
Running around the woods and on the trails can be dangerous, so before adding a new dog to her pack, Mo sets up a meet and greet to test the dog's temperament and make sure it is reliable and trained for recall.
Jake Maru! Good dogs.
Mo and Lee never miss an opportunity to make the doggies feel special.
Here we got the birthday boy. His name is Gentleman Jake. Now we're aboard the puppy bus. It's time for puppy cake. It's made just for dogs from Lucy's Bakery. And Jake says thank you for celebrating me. Woo!
One thing's for sure, the dogs aren't the only ones having a good time.
Oh, you're definitely the frostiest.
As Mo and Lee say, they wouldn't trade their job for anything in the world.
I'm so jealous. Why? Because I didn't get to tell that story. Thank you, Natasha. Stick with us because after the break, we're going to take you to the beach. Ready for some warmth, right? That's where a 10-year-old girl got a head start as a paleontologist with a pretty impressive discovery in the sand. Come on back. Welcome back to The Uplift. A 10-year-old girl recently made the discovery of her lifetime on a beach, finding something about 15 million years old. Here's Jan Crawford with that story.
Molly Sampson has a knack for finding things.
I got you.
Whether it's in her own backyard or the Chesapeake Bay, where she and her sister like to hunt for fossils. So far, she's found hundreds.
What do you like about doing this?
It's just like treasure hunt, and like they're really fun to find and go hunt for them.
Recently, Molly made the discovery of a lifetime, a prehistoric megalodon shark's tooth as big as her hand.
I felt like I was dreaming because I never thought I'd find one that big.
Like you couldn't believe it?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it myself because, like I said, I've never found one that big.
Her parents had been taking Molly to the beach since before she could walk.
Yeah, I see how valuable it was for me to be out and have that experience of exploring and looking for things.
It's just like fun because their shark's teeth are really old.
How old are you?
9.
And how old is that one?
15 million years old.
She says she may want to study paleontology one day, but in the meantime, who knows what else Molly will discover.
I'm gonna catch you.
The joys of discovery. Thank you, Jan and Molly. We introduce you now to a woman who started out as a street vendor at the age of 12. Now she pays homage to the countless street vendors in the City of Angels, Los Angeles. Here's Lilia Luciano.
Along one of downtown Los Angeles' busiest intersections, a familiar scene. The often overlooked street vendor. A fixture of the neighborhood, Guadalupe faithfully set up shop on sidewalks, selling hot dogs $5 a piece, 5 days a week for over 20 years. For artist Heri Torres, honoring LA's street vendors is an ovation to hard work and a nod to the staple of the city that are these mobile merchants.
You go everywhere and you see street vendors, and they make the landscapes of Los Angeles.
She weaves her subject's backstory into her work, etching words into the backdrop of the smiling entrepreneurs who pop up on the brightly painted canvas.
Some of them actually have kids who are going to university now. And I'm a medium to share their stories and also honoring them with my art.
It's not just her passion, it's part of her story. Torres' parents proudly sold hot dogs on the street in Colima, Mexico, and so did she.
So at 12 years old, you were street vending. You
Yes.
were selling hot dogs.
I was going to school, but my responsibility after school was doing my homework and help my parents. I didn't understand that until later, that they taught me how to make money.
When she moved to the U.S. at 18, the sight and smell of street vending were welcome reminders of home.
And I thought that it would be nice to actually have a business as a street vendor. I thought it was gonna be as easy as it is in Mexico, but it was not easy. A lot of challenges, a lot of people harassing you.
It was a rough introduction, but it gave her a leg up in a new city and got her saving for college, where she eventually earned a master's degree in art from Cal State Northridge. Now, the 34-year-old's work isn't contained to art shows. They're downtown, on the side of city buses, and within the collection of A-listers like Jennifer Lopez.
And I saw Ben Affleck, I'm like, wow, it's Ben Affleck.
But her work does more than adorn. It advocates.
We are as valuable as an accountant because we are supporting the economy, the system.
That value was recently acknowledged when California's Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill modernizing the state's retail food code, allowing food vendors greater access to permits. A reform that'll ease work for one of Torres' latest subjects, Guadalupe.
Gracias.
Decades of selling allowed the proud mother of 4 to send all of her children to college.
¿Qué tal?
Sí, igualita a mí.
Igualita, you look the same.
Sí, igualita.
She looks the same.
From selling to painting to celebrating street vendors on canvas, Torres has come full circle.
If you're having a bad day, you just can stop, get a fruit, get a tamal, get a champurrado. That's why we are there, to create smiles on people with great food.
They're a part of the tapestry of Los Angeles, and a very important thread carefully woven into her life too.
The good thing about being an entrepreneur since a kid is that you learn how to wait patiently for the things to come your way.
I want to say, as somebody who lives in Los Angeles part-time and loves Southern California, thank you, Lilia, for telling their stories. We don't get to hear that very often. Coming up on The Uplift, when a teen started at a new school in Tennessee, a group of kids wanted to make him feel welcome. So they built him something that has changed his life. I'm telling you, wait for it. It's next. Plus, go inside a pirate's supply shop. It looks quirky from the outside, but there's a lot more to this business than meets the eye. Now look, when I posted this next story on my Facebook page, it got 1.4 million views, okay? We're gonna take you to Tennessee, where I got a chance to meet a group of high school students who built something life-changing for the new kid in town.
Meet 15-year-old Sergio Peralta. He's the new kid at school, and he started the year with a secret.
In the first days of school, I honestly felt like hiding my arm in my sleeve. Like, nobody will ever find out, you know? I would, like, flex this joint.
You see, Sergio was born with a hand that didn't fully form. So a teacher at the Hendersonville High School engineering program found out, and he told him, "My students might be able to help you." And that's when 3 of them did something special.
Well, they ended up offering me, like, we could build you a prosthetic hand. And I never expected it. Like, never in a million years I expected it.
With access to online models and a 3D printer, these teenagers, who didn't even know if their plan would work, hit a home run.
When I caught it the first time, everyone started freaking out because, like, it was the first time I caught a ball in my right hand in 15 years.
Look, school can be cruel, but these kids, they did the coolest and the kindest thing.
They changed my life, you know.
For their newest peer.
The opposite of bullying is what those kids did. And it all started with that teacher who got the ball rolling. Coming up, meet the people behind the 826 network. They run shops with whimsical themes like pirates, spies, and superheroes, but they have a much bigger purpose. What is it? We'll tell you when we come back. And finally, let's head west to a quirky store in San Francisco that appears to sell you everything you need to be a pirate. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here's Jeff Glor with that story.
Walk into 826 Valencia Street in San Francisco, and you'll find what's believed to be the only store in the world entirely dedicated to selling pirate supplies.
Is that a trap door?
But get beyond that, and you soon realize the point of this place is not to hawk fake gold coins. It is to deliver very real dreams.
I wanted the place to be weird. We wanted it to be kind of homey and strange and totally unexpected and have a sense of humor, because kids are so funny. They're so strange and funny, and we so rarely embrace that and reflect it back to them.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
The weird storefronts have become a staple at 826 writing centers around the world. From secret agents in Chicago.
Okay, are you guys ready to go through the secret passageway? Yeah.
To superheroes in Brooklyn, a time travel mart in Los Angeles, and a woodland creature outfitter store at their newest location in San Francisco.
When you create a place that is profoundly beautiful and wonderful and surprising, and young people walk through that space, it's a transformative experience for them, and it sends them the message, something's gonna be different here.
Over the past 20 years, 826 has become the largest youth writing center in the world.
If you could talk to your ancestor, what would you ask them?
Matching up volunteer tutors
I would ask them what were they eating in the old times.
Oh, really?
with students in under-resourced communities, all free of charge. Founded by Dave Eggers and Neneve Caligari, the current director is Beda Nazarian, a former school principal.
I think that's what 826 does so well, is it says students' voices matter. Here's the support you need as a teacher, as a young person in our system, and then let's publish you.
Eggers' first major success in the publishing world was the memoir, A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. The book turned him into a literary superstar. And he soon discovered he knew lots of others who were looking for ways to contribute to their communities. Caligari was a teacher working in a school overwhelmed with too many students.
I had 146 students, and any one given time, I never had enough time to give them the attention I thought they deserved. And I just knew that teachers out there would be super thirsty for this service, and that was true.
Jimmy and Latifa were two of the students there when we visited.
Hi, person reading this. I'll be telling you in my own words how I see the future.
They shared some of their own published works.
On a lonely land, I care for my grandma, sis, mom, grandpa, and myself because they're my family.
Do you think it's cool to see your name in print?
Yes.
I mean, it's a nice feeling.
It's kind of a flex.
It's a flex.
Yeah.
It very much is a flex, yeah.
There's a confidence and a calm that comes over a published young author because they feel like, I got it right. I put it on paper. It's in this book. That's my truth. It's there permanently.
Osvaldo Marquez Gomez is a former student. He's been published 11 times.
What did 826 do that the schools couldn't?
It was that one-on-one attention. I had a hard time asking for help. So once a tutor is visually sitting there and like, what's going on? Like, what are you processing? What questions do you have? So like that proactive, like one-on-one attention I feel like that goes a long way.
It's pretty wild to think, like, you see the student 15, 20 years ago, and then...
He's my boss now.
Yeah.
He's your boss.
Yeah,
on the board.
He sits on the board of directors.
Osvaldo now helps oversee a writing program at a time when there were 2,500 documented cases of books being banned last year, an all-time high. Eggers recently joined that list.
I was really surprised. My book, The Circle, was banned in a school district in Rapid City, South Dakota. I had to look back at the book to figure out what there was in that. I don't remember anything in there that would have been objectionable, but I was there a couple weeks ago and talking to teachers and talking to students, and we had amazing sessions, and the teachers are incredibly resilient. They're finding ways around it.
Does anyone know what hyperbole means?
826 is not meant to replace the education system, but supplement it in ways most schools can't. And it's about the people who are willing to give their time to help these kids find a voice, and in the process, maybe rediscover their own.
If you can hear my voice, give me a hoorah! Hoorah!
What the 826 tutors taught me and what Dave has brought to the world is this huge reminder that learning is also joyful. And I think that public school teachers are doing their best in difficult circumstances, and I do think when there's so much stress and strain on that system that it is difficult to remember that learning can be joyful and that it can be driven by love and kindness.
Love that. Joyful, indeed it is. That is our show. It's been a joy for me to join you. I hope this brightened your day and lifted you up. I'll see you next time.